Hello, Loose Gadgies. Another successful autism episode last week. It was on a good run between Tuesday and Friday. Had some interesting comments. I'm going to do some questions on an ADHD episode. I think you wanted to put some of your own bits in from your diagnosis and what you've discovered since.
Yep.
Since I mean, what was it, a year ago?
Yeah, it's a year ago. Yeah.
About a year ago. So, that'll be a good one today, though. Is all about behavioural science. Off the back of watching Rory Sutherland on, was it TikTok?
Yeah, mostly on TikTok, but I've sort of browsed into some of his YouTube bits. Yeah, just the behavioural science bit I just find fascinating about how we think about things and how we can be lured by these marketing guys into doing things.
Was somebody said on the news the other day where you can tell the age, which generation you're from, just by saying two words to them and saying what drops into their head. And he just said to his guest there, bread advert.
Harvest.
Immediately. He said, did you picture a guy pushing a bike up a hill? And he went, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the power of marketing. When was the last time you saw that advert? I don't know, it'd be decades ago. And he was like, exactly the point. Exactly the point. PG tips. Oh, them monkeys. And
Yeah.
it's all there. So that little whistle at the end of the McDonald's advert, you know, the da-da-da-da-da, all of that stuff, right?
I'm loving it.
Yeah, all of that stuff. Somebody somewhere, probably a behavioural scientist and, you know, various, I don't know, language experts and whatnot, are all faffing with your head. And I kind of, so I thought it was fascinating. I went, first thing I thought of was Hovis. Pushing up that, you know, 900-degree incline. The basket on the front.
The fact that that's stuck in our head, what does that create? It creates brand loyalty, doesn't it? Just an advert.
Yeah, though I can't remember the last time I bought a Hovis, though. However, I will say that when I'm out buying the ingredients to bake at home, I'm always looking at the Hovis or Biro sort of strong flour or the yeast and whatnot. And I've got one of those Hovis baking books. You know, the sort of really slim, long ones. I don't know how long I've had it, but it's one of them things that all mums have got.
With the bowler hats on.
Aye, with your little Biro baking book.
Yeah.
I think certainly every mum up here's got one.
Yeah.
Oh, in my experience.
Because it was the only flour at the time, wasn't it? Biro.
Biro, aye, and then you had your Allinson's wholemeal.
Yeah.
With the old guy, and bread with now taken out. See?
Yeah.
It's in there. It's like that fairy advert when hands that do dishes feel as soft as your face. All of that, right? So it's
Oh, green, very liquid.
exactly. We're all infected.
Yeah.
It's one way of putting it. It's one way of putting it.
We are.
So what was your what was the example that caught your eye? What got you watching them?
I think, I mean, I've got a list here because I forget things, but the real one that that really got me onto them. So you've been on a flight, you're coming home from abroad, or as we used to do, we used to work away a lot, and as you're coming into land, you know it's basically you've got to go a mile down this runway, and you're heading towards it, and what do you see at the end of the runway? You see a bus. And now what are we thinking? So that's where we're going. We're heading towards that bus, and you're like, oh, flipping heck. Got to get on a bus now instead of the what do you call it? The what do they call it? Where that it's called.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Bridge.
The
Bridge.
Yeah, so bringing
Yeah, that thing that comes out, attaches, and you get to walk on and go into the terminal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the minute you see a bus, you start to get a bit riled, a bit upset. And
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
I'm always hoping for one of those walkways to come swinging in, and you can get straight in the airport.
Yeah, exactly. And what he said was, what changed his perspective was an EasyJet pilot. The EasyJet pilot comes on. He said, "Thank you for flying with us, and apologies, yeah, but the bus will be picking us up at the end of that. But the consolation in that is actually the bus drops you outside the passport control office, and you'll be straight in the queue." And he went, I just thought about it, and he thought, I never realised the fact that I was getting off at a bridge, and then I had to walk through all the terminals to get to the passport place.
And the bus bypasses all of that stuff and takes you straight there.
Now he says, I appreciate the bus.
Yeah.
In it. And it's just like a totally different way of looking at it.
Oh, I hope we get the bus. I hope we get the bus. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just that was the first one I saw of him, and I just like reverse psychology about the fact we've been programmed to think that the bus is a bad thing. And it's not. The bus, depending on your perspective, is actually a really positive thing, because it takes you direct to passport control, straight up a flight of stairs, and you're in passport control, and you don't have to walk that 3 miles. Remember some of the places we used to walk.
It's that feeling that when you're going through the bridge, I'm already in the airport, so I'm already definitely off the plane. The travelling bit is done.
Yeah.
But actually, you've still got a shed load of walking though. So yeah, but I'm off and I'm in the airport. So
yeah, and I'm actually
that sort of feels better.
I don't have to wait for Nana, who's 86, coming down the flight of stairs, and she's the last one to get on the bus, and you just I've got to wait again. So that was the one, and then so I started watching a lot more of his stuff and things like. I'll just go through a few examples you chip in. So buying a house, he talks about buying a house, and he said, don't really look for everything that you're looking on your list. Look for stuff that other people hate. Yeah, and he talks about stuff like, people won't buy this house because it's next to a train line. I happen to love trains. I love trains. Yeah. So, and then things like, my kids are grown up. So, who gives a monkeys what catchment area of the school is? It could be a catchment area of crackheads. He said, I don't care. He said, so it's a catchment area for schools is not important for me. So I'm looking at things that other people hate or love. He said, my parents wouldn't buy a beautiful Victorian house because it was next door to a pub. And guess what that pub had? It had a beer garden. He said, so you had a free garden. And the bizarre thing about it was that the owners of the pub, when you wanted, would hand over your beer over the garden fence on order. And it's like, so he said, looking at stuff that people hate can actually create an appeal, or you might actually get a bargain.
These are all things that bring the price down. Like, my brother's new build is in the flight path of Newcastle Airport.
Exactly.
But he happens to like planes. So what did he do? Rather than get annoyed, he bought some binoculars.
Yeah, yeah.
And now he watches the massive Emirates planes come over, and he's like, "Yes, I feel like I can touch it. It's that close." Now he thinks that's exciting, rather than annoying.
Yeah, yeah.
But it means that those plots weren't as expensive as the plots over the other side.
Yeah, and it's just like when me and Anita look for stuff, like, I mean, she'll see something and say something about the house purchase, and I'll think it's very insignificant in terms of an overall purchase, and I'll think of something that I'll say, oh, it'll have to have this, and in terms of an overall purchase of the house, it's so insignificant, but that would make you make a decision or not make a decision. And that when you're talking about in these day and age, you're up in the north here, you're talking about spending like $250,000 on a house, and you might say, well, I'm not buying it because it's not got a downstairs loo, but you could put a downstairs loo in for pretty cheap, or a little thing like oh, it's not got this or it's not got that, or it just didn't feel right. Okay. Yeah. And you start building that psychology into your thought process about how you see things, and you can actually sort of start to reframe your way of thinking. what was it? The dormant fallacy. So the dormant fallacy. This is where somebody that's creative. You're much more creative than I am. And I'm more what I would say, when we worked together, I was more the logical thinker about, how can we save money? So the dormant fallacy. So you bring in 5 consultants into a hotel, yeah, and they watch. Remember these consultants that we used to bring in? They used to watch people. So what do you actually do? So they brought them in.
You used to do that a lot. You are more on the
yeah.
practical side of things. I was very much about the theory behind some. You were like, I could see you walking through a warehouse, studying the physical process that people walk. Why is he walking from there to there?
Yeah.
What's that for? Why is he only carrying that one thing? I mean, what's some of the questions I wouldn't have even thought.
So
I wouldn't even noticed it.
These 5 consultants have gone into a hotel.
Yes.
And they've defined the guy that's at the front as the doorman. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's his job. He's the doorman, right? And what they've said is, if you put electrical doors on that, within 5 years you'll pay for it, and you'll lose that salary. Sounds fantastic. So they put electric doors on. They get rid of the doorman. But what they don't realise is that he's not just a doorman. He is front-facing. He's customer service. He also stops the crackheads from the area sleeping outside the hotel door.
He's a deterrent.
Yeah, he's the one that if you want tickets for something, he's going to help you get the ticket.
He knows the dudes, the guys, yeah.
So where the logics people of the world like me would say, well, he's just a doorman and that's all he does. Behind it, there is a lot more going on. If that's the numbers behind the numbers, it's the relationship behind those numbers. And he's not just a doorman. He's much, much more than that.
He becomes the point of contact almost, the man to know in the hotel. Right?
I mean, I remember working abroad, and a lot of these hotels had people on the front door, and maybe they had a nice hat on and blah blah, and you actually looked forward to seeing them. They were part of the relationship of the hotel.
Part of the experience of someone saying hello. How do you do?
Yeah. This is famous.
And do you need someone to come and carry those bags? I'll call them in for you. Blah blah blah. All of that. Yeah.
In terms of value and returning, you can't put a price on this guy. But us, financial guys, we would just say, well, here's another one. I mean, that's just come to me mind that I think a lot of the Premier Inns, etc., have now started putting in self check-in. So now you don't even have a relationship with somebody in the front desk. You just do your own check-in and just off. So there's no human contact.
Oh, I mean, when we stayed in what's his face? What was the name of it was the name of the guy, wasn't it? Mr. When we were staying in the hotel in Alamo, it was named after that German guy.
Butcherhoff.
The Butcherhoff, yeah.
Yeah.
And we stayed there. We knew all the staff.
Oh, yeah.
We knew them all. We knew the people who were bringing the food up to the room, because we stayed there. I was there at least 3 months, if not a smidge longer. And we got to know the people who were behind the bar when we used to stay. Some nights we'd stay down and have a chat and have a couple of drinks. We knew the person behind the bar. We knew all the people at the front desk, because we'd have to go and pick our key up on a night time on the way in. So we knew all of them. We knew the staff that came up and did the rooms.
Yeah.
And they were a canny bunch.
Yeah.
It was a good laugh. But then we knew who was doing what. And I felt like we were better treated, and it felt more of an experience.
So if we had the chance to go back to Germany and we're given a choice of 2 hotels, we would go to that hotel, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I would.
Because of that.
I enjoyed my experience there, because the people there were good crack, and we never wanted for out, and our food was always spot on. We went through I don't know how many peanuts. Can you remember? And you go and fill the bowl back up, and they took good care of us.
Yeah.
And going to the desk on the way in was part of it. Was, how are you doing? Oh, well, that's a new face. Are you new? Are you new here? And we got chatting to them. So you would stand there for 5-10 minutes having a chat before you went up to your room.
Yeah.
I think it was part of it. It's part of what makes a hotel in a way.
There's a lot to be said about behavioural science, and about this the transactions that we have that are not money with people, and how that can sort of make
That's a good
us,
way to phrase it. Yeah.
yeah, make us want to go back or not go back. I don't know. Maybe McDonald's is a great experience place in terms of getting your food and what they say, or maybe
Oh, I love that. I like being able to walk straight up to the touchscreen and do it. But then one of the key differences between me and you is that social interaction. That you miss it.
yeah,
Sarah's the same. She said similar things about working from home is great to a point, but she misses the crack in the
yeah.
office and the chat and the helping each other out and desk visits and this. So there's this other. I don't think you can't just make one decision and one size fits all.
Yeah.
You couldn't. I mean, can you imagine designing a hotel around someone like me? Everything would just be touch screen. There'd be neat people. I'd just be able to go straight in my room. Food would come upstairs on a robot, or there'd be
Well,
like a lift in the corner of the room where I get my food from.
the
Or
reverse to that is when we come up with an idea of, let's say, the doorman. Um, the logic guys should be going in the creative room and saying, "We're thinking about doing this. Tell us, tell us your thoughts on it, but give you time to think about it," because this sort of stuff would come out, maybe from other creative types, in terms of, well, do you know they do a lot more than just open the door, and then now you start to put, but if you were to put a finance person in charge of that decision, it's happening, isn't it? It's just getting
oh yeah,
that,
yeah,
that person's getting fired.
that's a saving. End
Yeah,
of.
it's a financial decision that we're
Yeah.
putting the doors in. It makes total sense. We're gone. Now attach something else in terms of brand loyalty, hotel loyalty, front facing, nice guys, well dressed. It's the first thing we see when we get the hotel. We enjoy the experience. Now he has a different value to the business. It's a totally different transaction. And unfortunately, the finance people don't say that. The other one that he talks about is, I mean, there's a few. I just want to try and get through them. Is the IKEA effect. Now, when we think about IKEA, we think about flat pack furniture a little bit, don't we? And
And no windows. No
and
windows.
he says
New
he says
windows.
forget about the marketing side where they basically force you through the store and you have to buy something even if it's just
Oh,
tea tree light.
oh yeah, and you feel compelled to follow the arrows,
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
you? Oh, I've got to go. This is the path. This is the path. There's a shortcut there. Ooh,
yeah.
mate, do we not get wrong for going through there?
What's the film? Don't stray from the path.
Don't know.
American Werewolf in London. Um,
I,
yeah.
I forgot. Oh, I haven't seen
Don't
that in a
stray from the
while.
path. Yeah, when they're in the pub.
Aye,
And
aye.
he talks about the IKEA effect. So you have to build your own furniture. Now, because we've built it, we attach a different type of value to it. Yeah. So
Oh, there's effort. Oh,
yeah,
aye, there's effort in
yeah,
that.
we've got, so when it comes to like a revamp of the sitting room and stuff, that's probably the last thing that's leaving our sitting room because we've put effort into building that. So
Yeah.
in terms of that emotional sort of transaction, that emotional feeling to that piece of furniture, it has a different level. Even though we probably all know it's tat and it's crap furniture. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all MDF, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
It's not solid wood. It's
No,
all.
it's crap. But we've got our screwdriver out. We got our posi screwdriver out and our little hammer, and we put little bits of dowel in, and we give it a good screw in, and now it's got now now it's got some type of meaning to us. Um, so, but yeah, I like the next one I really like is sort of Red Bull, the drink Red Bull. What does it taste like?
Ooh, I used to love the taste of that stuff. It's just got. It's not like any fruit you could imagine, or any. It's not even like Lucozade. It's got its own sort of tangy, sugary goodness.
Yep.
I used to drive me bonkers.
So
I'm not good company on Red Bull.
yeah, so interesting.
Well, I either am or I'm not.
Yeah, he talks about. I remember a few Pandora parties where we would have Jaeger bombs, wouldn't we? Which is a shot of Jägermeister and some Red Bull. No wonder we never used to sleep. But anyway, so he talks about Red Bull, and there's this company, this defined company, that their job is a new carbonated drink. We supply they supply them with carbonated drink, and they're supposed to taste test it and see what it likes. And this is no word of lie. This is what Rory says. They supplied them with this new drink that they were going to call Red Bull, and they said to him, "What do you think about it?" And they said, "It's the worst drink we've ever tasted. It tastes like piss, you know." And but now, fast forward, this drink runs a Formula One team.
Yeah.
So
There's more than that. There's Red Bull Air Racing.
yeah,
There's Red Bull. I mean, they even funded with like the X Games. All of the skateboarding and all that kind of extreme sports. All of that, it kicked off all that.
so
Mountain biking.
you give drink a power, you give it wings. And this drink that has been defined as the worst ever tasting carbonated drink ever made now becomes unstoppable machine.
Oh, because it's an energy drink,
Yeah.
and everything they've attached themselves to seems to be full of energy. Whether it's racing, flying, climbing, mountain biking, skateboarding, BMXs, I think it spawned an industry, because then you ended up with Monster Energy, which now covers things like monster truck racing and all sorts. And then you've got the next one. So Lucozade, for donkey's years, well, when you've got flu, make sure you've got a bottle of Lucozade by your bed.
Yeah.
And you had the little Lucozade sweets, you remember them? Them little
Yeah.
tablety type sweets, the glucose sweets. So they'd been doing energy drinks for donkeys, and then
What?
Red Bull comes along and goes, have you seen this? This is an energy drink.
Yeah.
It's got taurine in it, and taurine comes from bulls. It comes from the knackers of bulls.
But it's just amazing, the fact that something that allegedly
That's why it's called Red Bull.
tastes so bad, you can make an international phenomenon by marketing
Yeah.
it correctly and hitting our psyche.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and
You're right.
that's the other thing about it. Create attraction to it by it's banned for under 16s.
And now technically, it wouldn't have to be really banned. You could just put
Correct.
a label on with this
Not
number
suitable for
16
under
aligned
16s.
through it. Not suitable.
How old are you? 14. Yeah, but I want it. Yeah.
And how many kids drink energy
Yeah.
drinks?
Loads.
Even though they've probably got more energy than most people of our age, or a bunch of us combined, right? They're eating,
He gave
they're drinking these energy drinks.
another drinks example. So if I said to you Pellegrino water, what are you thinking?
It's that fancy fizzy stuff in there.
Yeah.
That looks like it's in a wine bottle,
Yeah.
but it's actually just a bottle of water.
The
Isn't it?
accounts department at Pandora upstairs, they only drank Pellegrino. We drank tap water.
Did they?
Yeah, they had a fridge full of it. Won't mention any names, but so the bit about cans of Pellegrino. I didn't know.
And that's the canned. Yes. And is that the one that has the foil on the top of the can?
This is the bit. So that's the first thing that came to your mind. Yeah, is the little bit of foil that comes on the top.
Yeah.
Now,
What's that about?
the logic.
Is that like saying, "Oh,
The logic.
this is clean"?
Yeah, the logic about it is about hygiene. Yeah, that loads of rats haven't gone over that and pooped and weed on it. Yeah. So, but the bit about it is you remember that piece of paper. Now here's the thing: we're going to have a wedding. Yeah, we're having a posh wedding, and on the side table, there's 10 cans of Pellegrino water. Yeah, with these little foil. You'd get away with that, wouldn't you? You'd get away with that. It looks nice. Now put 10 cans of Fanta. It doesn't have the same appeal, does it? But because we've put a piece of paper on the top of it, we've made it have this different dimension. And it's just like,
You can't do it respectively either. So you couldn't like start putting out the same old Fanta or Sunkist or something with the foil on the top. it would have to be called, you know, Fanta or
Yeah.
something,
Well,
or Fanta Plus.
yeah.
This is with only the best French spring water, and it has this little file thing on the. Yeah, you have to come up with something.
But it's fascinating the fact that bizarrely, a finance director would probably ask for this paper to be taken off, uh, because it makes no sense in terms of the value of the product. But from a perspective of a drink, you go to a wedding, you see a can with a nice tinfoil over it, and there's a can of Fanta there. And I think I need to be posh today. It's a wedding. I'm going to pick my Carla Pellegrino up.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
stood there standing with a can of Fanta in your hand. You look common, huh?
That reminds me of my old flatmate. His best friend went after uni to work in London for a marketing company. I may have told you this story before. Where do you remember those? The very first time you started to put your washing tablet in with the washing rather than in the drawer at the top.
Yes.
It came in that mesh bag,
Yeah. Yeah.
like that net,
Yeah.
right? Now they do market research testing, so before they release the product, they went out and product tested it, and people didn't like, because it didn't have a bag. You just put the tablet in. Oh, I don't like the tablet touching me clothes. Is it going to spoil me clothes? Is it going to leave a stain? Well, no, it's detergent. I mean, the only difference is that it mixes with the water first, but it's not going to dissolve immediately. So there's a chance it touches your clothes. No, I'm not. Oh, you put it in the front. Nah, touch. Am I going to rest it? Have I got to put a cloth in and like rest it on the cloth? Well, no. No. So what they did was, and you probably remember the advert. They invented this mesh bag.
Yeah.
So you put the tablet in the mesh bag, but apparently that mesh bag helps it circulate in the washer and creates this. And they did this whole animation of it,
Yeah.
of it sort of swishing around inside the machine. So it actually helps the soap circulate in amongst the wash. It makes it more efficient. It doesn't. It's just that people didn't like the idea of the tablet touching their clothes, so they created this barrier between them. And the market research stuff just went through the roof. They went, oh yeah, we'll have that. Yeah, this is a much better idea.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't touch me clothes.
Yeah.
That's all. Then that was just all in their heads, right? But they tell us on the advert that it's actually always been part of the design, and it was an afterthought. Blew my mind when I heard that.
Yeah. I love that. So you're sort of playing with the psychology of it and reversing it and getting people to adopt. Yeah, where the
Oh yeah,
yes,
and
keeps them away.
you're getting them to solve the problem for you. What don't you like about it? All this.
Yeah.
Well, let's just put it in a bag.
So have you ever had Five Guys?
No, it's one of them things that I mean, I love a burger, and I think a burger is a good measure of a restaurant if they can do it right, especially
Yeah.
if it's still a little bit pink in the middle
So
and they've cooked it right, you know. So I've been meaning to.
yeah,
I think Sarah's daughter worked there.
really, really. I mean,
Stu loves it, but
really, really good burger. Very expensive, but they have what they would call a hero product. The hero product is the burger. But then,
is that the same place where you can build whatever you want as a burger? Where you can stack, and you can stack as many layers. You can do whatever layers you want, and all the fries and things are just they're separate. They're sides. It's all about the burger,
exactly, they've created the hero product. All of the stuff
right?
going alongside it, so all of your toppings are free. You can have as many
Right,
toppings
free.
as you want.
Right.
Chips, they throw an extra bit in the bottom of the bag. You feel like you're getting something for free.
Oh, I used to love that.
Yeah.
McDonald's or something. You just found some chips in the bottom.
They do it deliberately. They scoop.
Do they?
They put it in your scoop, and then they scoop another half in the bottom of your brown bag. You there thinking that you're getting extra free. So then,
But they've probably just made a smaller chip box,
correct.
so
It's all-
so it looks
it's all in the
full,
margin.
and then they just
You get free peanuts at Five Guys. Free peanuts. They're there. You just go and help yourself. So all of this is about a niche product. They've got a niche product that's expensive, but all of the other stuff that you get is psychologically profiled that you think it's all free, so you will go there, even though it's
But it's actually built
yeah,
in.
it's just built into the margin. And then he talks about how to create sort of if you were going to create a niche product, like apparently there's a chip shop in the US, and all the sellers chips with vinegar on them. Now the Americans hate vinegar in terms of on their chips. We know about the Danes. Carsten used to hate vinegar on his chips.
Did he?
Yeah, this shop, yeah, he hated it. He couldn't understand why us Brits had vinegar on our chips.
Yeah, yeah, but we can't understand their love for licorice,
Yeah,
though, right?
and so this chip shop in America is only open about 3 hours a day, and the queue's around the corner for it because they've created this niche,
It's exclusive.
exclusive.
We're only open for 3 hours.
Yeah.
We're only open three
So
hours.
he said to us, right, you got to create your own bacon sandwich shop, right? And in this bacon sandwich shop, all you're selling is just cooked bacon and crispy bacon. You're only offering sliced bread or a bap, and you're only having brown sauce. And we're only open till 7 till 11. So there you are. You said you take it. That's the
Seven,
yeah. So
7 till 11. So it's only open. So it's only open a
well,
few hours.
this is his suggestion. This is what he's suggesting to you: create a niche
All right. So it doesn't
thing, and he
necessarily
came up with the
matter
bacon.
what it is, as long as this feels it's an exclusive mind. It's exclusive. Is this why, like,
Yeah,
when they put railings outside the nightclub, so there's a queue? Because I was told sometimes those queues are fake to make it look like it's exclusive. So no, 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 only the bouncer can let you in, and the place on the inside is far from capacity when you actually get in.
yeah, it's empty.
But there's a queue outside, and people go, "Oh, look, there's a queue. There's a queue. That place must be good. It looks exclusive." It's all psychology. I say, what? No, lies.
It is. And another example of psychology. He said there was talking about the Eurostar from I think it's from St Pancras to
Yeah.
Paris, and the amount of people that complain about the journey, about the length of the journey, and so Eurostar spent 6 million quid in upgrading to save 40 minutes on the journey. He said, but if they'd spent 0.01% of that in improving the Wi-Fi on those trains, the complaints wouldn't have existed. Yeah,
Why?
they're just attacking the problem from the wrong position.
What's causing it? Oh, it's because people aren't distracted. They're getting bored and they're feeling how long it is. Whereas if you had
Yeah,
something
he,
like Wi-Fi to distract them, they wouldn't realize that it was taking that extra time would fly. Yeah.
time just go. He had the same. What's the train link between London and the north? What was that
On the
called?
East Coast Main Line.
Uh, yeah, the H
The
something H.
HS2.
Yeah, H2.
HS2. Yeah.
HS2. Yeah, he said exactly the same thing. They've tackled that problem from a logistics point of view in terms of timing on trains. What about if they'd spent more time just focusing on the style of travel, the things that are going on, the food, the time, the Wi-Fi, the seats? People would not complain
An
about how long
extra
it
coach.
takes. Because, yeah, yeah, just attack the problem from a different perspective and you get a much better solution for less money. And I
So
just thought
he's
that's
kind of saying that
genius.
they haven't really understood the problem.
Yeah, they're just attacking it from, we've got a capacity issue. People want to be in London faster. Blah blah blah. This is what we need to do. We need faster trains. Well, actually, no, that's not the issue. It's maybe part of it, but not all of the issue. You can do something about comfort, about what I was trying to think of something like going first class on a plane. Now, do we want the journey to really be fast?
No.
Well, no, I
Oh,
want to
yeah.
enjoy that experience. Yeah. I want a first class, if it should take 4 hours for the flight, I want it to take 4 hours. If you can make it take three,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't want it,
I've gone
I
business
don't want it to take,
class before, and I
yeah,
kind of wanted it to last because I was like, yeah, I feel posh. I'm sat up front. I keep getting asked if I want
yeah,
a drink, and have I got enough
yeah,
stuff? Oh, do you want some more nuts? And then they speak to you a little different, and then they close the curtain so the people in the cheap seats can't see you. Yeah, I'm all exclusive. And those journeys always seem to go over
Here's a
too quickly.
yeah. Yeah, here's a couple because obviously I don't really use them, but delivery companies for food, and um, you can get takeaways, you can get anything. But and I remember when we were starting the business in terms of home deliveries for Pandora. Everybody was focused on the fact that it has to be next day, it has to be quick, it has to be super fast, it has to be there. And they did a study with Domino's Pizza Delivery Company, and the assumption is when you ring for a pizza that everybody wants it ASAP. Yeah. So, and they've never
Yeah.
defaulted from that. So you ring
30
up for a
minutes or
pizza.
less. 30 minutes or less.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just that's what we. But what he said was, if you said to somebody, "Would you like? When would you like it?" And some people would say, "Can I have it for 6 o'clock, please? Can I have it at 7 o'clock on the dot?" Yeah, no problem. And what you're doing by that is you are allowing the courier to backload the delivery process with more than one delivery by just asking a couple of questions. So instead of them delivering one pizza to that address, they can now piggyback that delivery with somebody else that said, I want it specifically at 6 o'clock. Because I'm preparing, it's mid afternoon, and I'm ringing up and I'm saying, "Oh, can I have a pizza? Yeah, when would you like it? Oh, 6 o'clock tonight. Yeah, okay, great." And now I'm going to backload that with something else. So now I'm saving money. But just ask the question rather than assuming we want it
Yeah. Fast is better.
ASAP. Yeah, lead them a question. I think they did something on psychology of like ringing people up with subscriptions, and they would say you can have A, B, or C. Yeah, and people would like conversion rates but when they rang them, then they would say the offer is most people tend to go for B, but we also have an A and a C option. The fact that you said most people take B, their conversion rate went up 300%. But just by wording it slightly differently. The funniest one I heard was Uber taxis. We don't mind waiting for an Uber taxi now because we can see it on the little app,
Yeah.
can't we? We can see it coming along
That's
on the
very
little
much
thing.
like me in that expectations are crucial for me. So if I know when, where, I shut up. As long as I know when, where, why,
Yeah,
how, all of that. As long as I know these, I don't pester anyone. So I know where it is, so I can prepare myself. When it's the not knowing that does my head in. So apps like that are great. Oh, I can see where he is. Have I got time? Have I got time? Oh, I've
yeah,
still got time to
yeah.
put my shoes on, or I'll go and.
But what's the taxi place? East Coast. So you've rang for a taxi in East Coast, and you've ordered it, and you don't know and it's a bit late, and now you start getting miffed off about it. But on Uber, you won't get miffed off. You can see it's coming, and you can see how long it's going to get. It's
So you
counting
know the guy.
down
They
on
definitely
the app.
ordered it. They definitely didn't forget you. It's definitely been picked up because you can
Yeah,
see on the app that your ride's been accepted and he's on his way, and you can see where he is.
and and with something like let's say East Coast, you get to a point after 5 minutes late or 7 minutes late where you're now
Yes.
considering ringing
Yeah.
them up, aren't you? He's just round the corner. With that
That
old
old
saying.
saying.
Yeah, he's just round the corner. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, all of this reverse psychology marketing, I just love it on how we can subtly move people into thinking differently, or moving them from a fixed mindset that they've had for years by just, as you said on the detergent advert, by just moving them
Mm-hmm.
gently into something new. You know. Um,
Making it feel acceptable to them.
Yeah, yeah, because we've got to move into this century, at
Mm-hmm.
some point.
But then you've
But yeah, I would recommend if you can find him, just have a look at some of the
Rory
stuff he
Sutherland.
says. There's loads of stuff. Rory
Mm.
Sutherland, that's it. Yeah, yeah.
So we're gonna follow up with an ADHD episode soonish. We're gonna put together some good questions and thoughts on that first. But if you've got any questions or examples on this, just drop them in the comments, or you can stick them on Facebook, Instagram, and the like. But until next week, take care.